Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome, everyone, to Where Energy Meets the Divine. I'm so happy to do a podcast. I know we've been playing some recordings for you. Thank you for listening and being patient for a current episode. So here we are. Today is October 1st, 2025. I'm in the Pacific Northwest in the evening recording this podcast. I wanted to talk about intuition, reading energy, for multiple reasons. One, so that you have another validating reason why it's so important to feel your joy, the light, follow the path. I was working with a client once, a person who had been diagnosed with a catastrophic disease. The chances of recovering are very slim, very, very slim. And when I'm working with people and I'm speaking, because I do a lot of talking, that's why I don't want to know why they reach out to me. I find out in the conversation, obviously, whether it's through my own knowing, which is most of the time, or, they share something with me at some point. So when you're reading energy and I'm talking to someone, I'm paying attention to when the energy opens up. So part of helping someone to heal, and it doesn't matter if it's your body, your mind, your spirit, or even your own self, when I'm communicating to someone, and I don't even have to be communicating to them live. I do power sessions now, and so I listen to people's voices, and then even as I'm recording the answer to them, I can tell when the energy expands. I can also tell if it's contracting, if it's not moving. And so as soon as it seems to be expanding, that's when I infuse more light, because I know that that's the opportunity. Like the opportunity has arisen. It may make no sense to my logical mind. That's not the point at all, by the way. Intuition probably will never make sense to the logical mind. The point is to learn, to follow, play with, communicate, connect with energy. It is who you are. It's the majority of who you are is energy. So I was working with this one person who, like I said, was pretty sick. And they had a child who had years ago had some sort of assault by one of the parents' friends. And as the person was talking, and speaking to me, I had a very strong impression that it probably didn't happen, which even before I said, I'm like, why would I say something like that? That's the interesting thing about intuition. It doesn't go towards mainstream perception. I wish it did. That would be really nice. It would make things easier, but it doesn't make things as interesting. Intuition is way more interesting. So, and the conversation wasn't to debate whether, it wasn't about accusing anyone of lying or manipulation or things of that nature. Because as soon as I said it, which I had no idea I was going to say it, it was just like channeled information that came through me. Like, I don't think this child was abused, certainly not in that way. The energy that expanded through this person's body was wow. Wow. Because even though the parent did everything correct, removed whoever needed to be removed from the family and reported, did all the right things, they were still in this energetic entrapment of enormous guilt and responsibility and all the normal things that we would feel when someone we love has been hurt in some way, shape, or form, and we're also in charge of protecting them. But as I said it, there's an expansion. So expansion also occurs when we're in higher vibrations of truth. And again, I'm working with this person. This had happened years ago, so it was really about the human that I was talking to. Although I believe intuition, I think it's incredibly accurate. And in so many of the thousands and thousands of sessions that I've given, when I say something that's pretty unique or off course, it's not uncommon for the client to come back to me because they're so surprised that the information was accurate when it goes against all common sense thinking. So this person recovered from their health issue. Yeah. I mean, last I knew of, this person was fully recovered from a disease that is very difficult to heal from, extremely difficult. And this person, did holistic and modern medicine. So this person, it's not like they didn't do things to heal their body, but scores of people have done everything to heal their body from this particular disease. And it's very difficult. I think the survival rate is 1%. That's really small. So I'm telling you this because I want you to start paying attention to the light in your own communication, in your own body, in what you're looking for to manifest or to create. I want you to pay attention to the opening. That means that things get brighter. You may feel happier all of a sudden. And when that happens, just like what I do in all my sessions, when that pathway opens, it's almost like a vein that dilates. But light is moving through instead of blood. Maybe blood moves too, who knows? I mean, we don't know all the physiological things that happen when energy starts to expand. I mean, it actually helps people to heal. It helps them to heal. And the interesting thing about this story too is that the child forever was angry at their parent and wouldn't communicate with them or connect with them, even though the parent did everything correct when this was reported. So there was just pain on top of pain, on top of pain, on top of pain, on top of pain, right? So just like in that instance, when I channeled information and there was this expansion, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be looking for the expansion in your own life as you are questioning something, studying something, having a conversation with another person, reading a book, studying something. You want to pay attention to when the energy opens, because that is the forward movement, the facilitation between the divine and you, because you are divine. You are in union of light that now can create unique solutions that are profound and necessary and needed. So, can you start to do that? And I mean in everything. You're at the grocery store, you're looking at 2 different boxes of cereal, let's just say. If you don't feel some light about it, then we know that nothing is expanding inside of your body. So I wouldn't get either one of them. If you're looking at both of them and you don't feel an expansion, then that's not the right cereal for you. You probably don't need cereal. You probably need some other breakfast food. So do your very best. And if you work in the healing world of any kind, when you're working with your clients or you're working with family members or friends, you're looking for the spark, the expansion. Sometimes I can be with a client and talk for 30 to 40 minutes and feel nothing. Like I don't feel that expansion. I'm having some interesting, conversation perhaps, or really everything is happening inside of my mind, not so much between our conversation, but energetically, there's a major synapses happening in my intuitive realm. And sometimes it's really, really quiet. I'm not getting that opening of light. And so when that's happening, I know that we're not quite there yet. We're not quite at a solution. We're not at a place where there can be a beautiful flow of information, of knowledge, of power that can be transformative, because that's what we're looking for. In order for us to change and grow, heal, stabilize, we need to have a transformation of some sort. And you may have a different perception than your friends, your family, your clients. Your perception is your perception. Don't assume that other people have the same perception or the same creativity. Don't assume that at all, because lots of people don't allow themselves to have unique ways of looking at life or experiencing life. And they think in such a matter-of-fact way, like it has to happen this way. This is the only way health can occur. This is the only way I'm going to heal my emotional response system. Like, no, that's not true. So once the opening occurs, the floodgates open and the light starts to stream through, however that experience translates for you, it might look like my picture, it might be different. That's when you want to infuse even more light. So this is why it's so incredibly important to be a receiver of energy, of the divine. Not only you need to feed yourself, your being needs to be fed first and foremost before you ever move light into another person or situation or circumstances. That's critical. That's like textbook 101. not just for healers, but for everyone in the world. You have to learn to be receptive. You have to take tons of energy in just to be in the game of life in a successful way. It's critical. So as you are channeling light into your own being and not guiding it to go anywhere in specific, energy is intelligent. It will go where it is most useful. But when you do that, then when you're having that awareness of like a vein opening up, I'm using that as an example. Now you have the light within yourself. You're full. Now you can harness it to move also while you continue to receive into something else, something profound, something transformational, because now you have the energy to, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that because we're back to receptivity. We're back to joy. We're back to also not judging information that you receive. Like nobody really knows anything. There are so many realities on top of realities on top of realities. We don't know. We shouldn't assume anything ever. I think that's critical and important and allows us to help anything heal as well. Okay, I'm going to now go to the voicemail lines and start answering people's questions. Okay.
Dearest Marie, this is Ilse, and today I have two questions for you. The first one is if you have any intuitive insight as to what you think my journey in some kind of spiritual healing would actually align with me. I would love, it would bring me so much joy to do any type of healing, whether
Great.
it's mediumship or
Great.
medical intuition, anything like that. I feel like I'm a little bit stuck in knowing in which direction I should go, or if I am actually intuitive.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The second question that I would love to have some guidance on is that I've been having some pain in my spleen, basically in the left hand side of my stomach, and I can't get any answers. And if you have maybe any guidance for me as to the cause or any stuck emotions or things relevant to that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, I don't think people should make a decision about where their intuition is going to grow the most. I mean, I don't think they should make that without being in the emotional component of it. Like, are you having fun? Which one makes you the happiest? And what if you're someone who can do all of it? What if you can give advice to your friends who have pets? You can talk to your neighbors' departed loved ones, and you can help people heal their body. I mean, so I think it's best, whether you're reading a book or taking a class, which one brings you the most joy, because that's the place you want to start. That's where everything will happen and unfold. Again, you move into the expansion of light. I don't think it's your spleen. I think it's your digestive system. Yeah, I don't get spleen. But if you think it is and you want to do something about it, you could do the flow movement of pebbles in the pond. It's a Qigong movement. It's directed for the spleen. So you'll have to look it up and learn that flow and start practicing it. But I think it's digestive. I think you're actually quite stressed. So when we're stressed, sometimes we eat more stressful food. We don't mean to, but we tend to start eating food that's really not good for us. And I think you typically have a clean diet. I also think you're a sensitive person, and sensitive people need clean diets. So I'd clean up your diet, no gluten, stay away from dairy. I don't think it's a spleen, but you can do pebbles in the pond. You can start with knocking on the door of life as your activator, do a little stretch, and then move into pebbles in the pond, because it goes right to the spleen. It's one of the 5 elemental flows, the basic ones. Okay, that's what I think. Thank you.
My husband has stage 4 kidney cancer. He's lost a kidney and a prostate, and he has a gamma nail in his leg. And I'm wondering, is it even possible for him to be healed at this point? He's been on Keytruda for 3 years, and he does really well. He doesn't have any side effects, and I just wonder if that's possible for him to be helped with the healing.
Okay, so this is Kathryn. I don't know where she's from. Kathryn, I'm so sorry that your husband's been ill for years and has had to go through these procedures and surgeries. I'm very, very sorry. Yes, anything can heal at any time. honestly. What's important if we're looking at energy medicine is the emotional component to the organs that are having a health issue. Now, the second chakra governs the kidneys, the prostate, the whole kind of reproductive area, the bladder, all of that. And the lower vibration or the repressed emotions that get stuck in the kidneys area is all about fear. And a lot of men also repress grief into that part of their body. If we could get your husband to start to recognize that he might have fears, and I don't mean just about his current health, these fears would have been very old, maybe from childhood. It can take decades before people actually create a disease in their body. And then as we chronologically change, and then some of the protective elements of our immune system, our hormones, they can play a role clearly in not protecting our hormones. So if you could get some therapy, I don't think he's a fan of that, to help him do some inner work so that he could start to heal these repressed emotions of grief, guilt, and fear. I think that could go a long way to get his body to be more responsive. That could go a long way. And I'm sending a ton of love and light to both of you. And yeah, that's what I think. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Camille, and I'm calling from Blue Lake, California. I find that when certain people are perhaps coming from ego, I find it distasteful and have energy or my own ego come up inside me. It's almost like I feel their unconsciousness and it affects my energy, especially when they are directing it toward me. I react, and then I wish later I had done it from a calm place. But I find it hard to be calm, not get nervous, like I'm scared of what might happen. But I also really like drawing my boundary and expressing myself. Sometimes silence is very powerful, I've found. Anyway, any insight would be helpful, and I thank you.
Thank you, Camille. That's a really good question. I think what's most important here is recognizing what the ego really is. It's fear. So when people are in fear, they act from their ego. All of us. So what you can do when you start to have that sensation, because it sounds like you know what the sensation is where you're around someone and it's difficult for you to maintain your own vibration, and then you start matching each other's frequency, and you don't want to be in that place. Could you be very loving and nurturing and kind to yourself and tell yourself, babe, everything's okay. You're safe. You're fine. We can walk away from this. And one of the things I know when I have people in my life where I feel I get triggered a lot, or it's just harder for me to be my authentic self, and I don't blame them. It's not their fault. I think we're all responsible for how we move our energy. I think it's critical that we take responsibility for our own energy, because it doesn't mean that everyone on the planet is going to change and be in their gracious self all the time. I mean, that's pretty unrealistic, right? And I'm not saying you are asking for that, by the way, but I just don't hang out with people. I don't want to waste my time, my energy. Sure, if we meet up or we have to hang out together, I hope and pray that I have evolved enough so that I'm not triggered by their insecurities, right? Because it is an insecure thing. Fear is about insecurity. So what you could do as you're practicing this is, again, be very kind, loving, and nurturing to yourself, because that's what your soul wants. It somehow got scared too, lowered its vibration. And the fear could be something it's really unconscious. It could be unrelated to the conversation or the person. It could be about a past life. Yeah, but it is kind of a normal part of life. That's why I choose to, at the very best of my ability, to have people in my life that I feel loved, adored, and cherished by. Yeah. Because those are the people who are our true family. Yeah. I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much.
Hi, Marie. My name is Sarah. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Love your show. Been watching you for a while. Anyway, I know that you do some physical healing. I've had an awakening this past year that was pretty significant and given a couple of gifts that came as a surprise for me. They are new and I'm still learning. It's channeling through automatic writing, which is very accurate, and also remote viewing, which I've not gotten into yet, except for one time, and it was successful.
Yay.
Anyway, this third gift is what they told me to concentrate on next, and this is what I have a question about. They have told me several times that it has to do with water and healing. They have also advised me to channel some past relatives beyond the veil, and that will serve me well. I did get some information from them as far as the water and healing gift is concerned. I'm going to read to you what I've been told. I just need help figuring out where to start with it because I really have no idea.
Okay.
I've asked but keep getting clues more than answers. Here it
Probably
is.
getting answers.
Casting worries, concerns, and burdens for everyone is easy to do for you. Use your heart chakra to feel the other's care. Feel their ill. It is powerful. There are things you can heal with your chakras, especially your heart chakra. Tune into it, let it control, and let it guide. It's warm for you, and this is a good sign. The warmth is the sign. The healing is twofold, the sickness of mind and the sickness of love. Nothing is physical. You've chosen not to be in that world. To practice, start here. Channel someone and use their energy to try on them. That is all you need. Tune in with grace and love. Breathe and walk the path. Overwhelming challenges and unresolved fears that loom large in your subconscious can ruin it for you. Make sure you remove them first. Then see if you can take all of it and be cautious. This is sensitive information. Water and waterfalls are enormous for this. The healing is just the start. Try to start loving another very much and tirelessly talk to the water. It speaks to you. Take long showers and feel the essence of the water. Engage with it, care for it, and speak to it. Hold it and smell it and taste it. Something will arise. From this instant, you can figure out what you need. The water gift is coming full force and is a lot. Exciting and tough. Responsibility, but you can do it. So, I'm just not sure where to start. Again, it has to do with the water and healing. I would love some guidance. I do watch your show, but I'm a busy mom of two. Would love it if I could know if and when you'd be answering my question. Regardless, thank you so much.
You're welcome. That second part won't happen. We're not going to notify people when we do who we answer. We're just too busy for that. So first of all, when you're doing automatic writing, you want to negate any negative communication because that's coming from the mind. So when they talked about tough, I'm trying to sensitive information, things like that, that's not channeling. That's your mind has seeped through. The universe only communicates through love, expansion, kindness, compassion. Words that we have here on earth, like you didn't mention any of these words that I'm going to mention, like war and crime, don't even exist outside of the human realm. So the multisensory realm is extremely kind, joyful, loving. So they're not going to use those words. So keep that in mind, that your brain is seeping through on some of these channels. I think the rest of the information makes complete and total sense to me. We do have to raise our own consciousness. We can't be in negative thinking, worry, and doubt while we do work. We're going to lower the vibration. We're going to lower the frequency. We want to be a pure channel of light. So you probably need to practice not lowering your frequency, not worrying about things, regardless of what it is, even if it makes total and complete sense to your logical mind. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your time. Positive things are attracted to us based on our frequency. Negative things are attracted to us based on our frequency. So it sounds like from what they said, water's your jam. Great. So what I would do if it were me, if I had heard that, the next time I laid hands on someone or directed light towards someone, I would flood them with water, with my mind. So the mind is extremely creative. The third eye sits in the brain. So I would just imagine that person being drenched in a kind but continuous shower, whatever turns you on. Remember, this is about your own joy, your own happiness. I do think that beings on the other side could be helpful. It could be departed loved ones. It may not be departed loved ones from what lifetime. It doesn't really matter. Like they're departed. It could be some of your family, but you don't have a lot of conscious people in your family line. Sorry, you don't. So the sickness is low frequency, negative thinking, negative worrying, all of that is, worry is negative. That's the sickness. And that's what most people, what keeps them in ill health or not allows them to move into wellness, because they haven't learned how to manage their mind. And all of us need to know how to manage our mind. It's our brain. And we need to direct it towards positive thoughts forever, forever and ever and ever. The mind was created only for logical activities, like putting together furniture, because you need all the screws, right? So start using water in your mind, directing it. Be playful and creative with this information, and recognize that when you feel warnings coming through your automatic writing, that's your brain seeping through. That the universe would not communicate that. There's nothing to warn. Humans don't need warnings. Humans have too many warnings, too many fears. They're in your ego way too much. So the universe would not communicate that to you. So I hope that's helpful. Okay. I think healing is just a lot easier than people think. It's not super complicated. All right. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. This is Jessica calling from Texas. I completely adore you and I'm so grateful
Oh.
for your work. My question today for you is I have had a long time of having low white blood cell count ever since I was about 20 that I can remember. I'm now currently 36. I've also been on a vegetarian plant-based diet for the past 15 years. For my research online, it seems that other vegans have the same low white blood cell count, but according to my doctors and then they send me over to the hematologist,
Right.
and I get all kinds of examinations and studies and ultrasounds and blood work done,
Right.
and they can't seem to find anything. But my next visit, they might consider possibly doing a
Bone marrow
biopsy on
aspiration.
my bone marrow,
Yeah.
which is pretty frightening. I feel
Yeah.
fairly healthy. I just want to know what is going on. Is it my diet? Should I make changes to my diet? Or is
Yeah.
there something really concerning going on? I would really, really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much, Marie.
You're welcome, Jessica. I'm sorry that you're going through that. So if your WBCs, your red blood count, has stayed pretty much in the same vicinity, even though it's low, I wouldn't be that concerned. If you're maintaining, it's not dipping down further, which the hematologist probably would then recommend a bone marrow aspiration. The reason why they do that is when people start to have blood dyscrasias, or when things start to change, it can be indicative of certain types of cancers, right? Blood cancers. But you've had this for a long time, and obviously they've been watching you. I'm surprised they didn't send you to a hematologist sooner, but that's okay. If it's staying the same, I wouldn't be concerned. I'm like, okay, because not everybody's going to be 100% exactly like everybody else. It's also not uncommon for doctors to not know why something, especially in the blood, why it's doing that. A lot of times they just don't know. They don't know why it's happening. Energetically, it's going to be because of something in childhood, which can be obviously related to past lives, because, we are kind of bombarded in our childhood with our past life needs or concerns or things that we want to heal. I would do some inner child work. That's what I would do. I'd find a therapist that loves energy, and learn about inner child work and do some work regarding that, because that's going to help your bone marrow, your stems. It'll help the production of all your blood, and allow yourself to visualize or feel bright light moving in through the earth into the root chakra, because that will feed your blood too. It's that first chakra that feeds the blood, the properties in the blood, not the flow of the blood, but what's inside. All of your RBCs, WBCs, platelets, neutrophils, everything like that that's in your blood, even cholesterol level, iron level, all of that is governed by that first chakra. So some inner child work. You maybe had some traumas when you were a kid, and it doesn't have to be anything terrible. People think when we're talking about trauma, it's only these horrific things that could happen. Well, certain things may not seem horrific, but to a kid, it could have been for them. It could be traumatizing for them. So when you do inner child work, you nurture different ages, starting with infancy, over a period of months, so that you get all the nurturing you needed, which then nurtures your anatomy and physiology. I would start eating protein. I mean, why not? Give it a shot. Even if it's eggs and fish, I would start integrating protein into your diet. I would. It won't hurt anything. And what I would do, I would go see a naturopathic physician. I don't think you told us where you are in the world, They're not licensed in every state in the US, but naturopaths are really great endocrinologists. In other words, they really look in the depth of your cellular activity so they can find, issues, and then they know how to fix them. And they have a lot of unique remedies, right? They can use conventional medicine. They are physicians. They can't use certain forms of conventional medicine like Schedule II drugs, like pain control drugs. They can't use things like chemotherapy, although naturopaths have their own form of that, by the way. So try to find a naturopath who specializes in hematology, or find a naturopath who's certified in oncology. Not because we're saying that's your issue. I don't think it is, quite frankly. But naturopaths who are certified in oncology have really studied blood dyscrasias. And so they have a lot of information. But you could have a naturopath who doesn't have that certificate, who just knows how to dive deep into all that endocrinology that's going on in your body. So that's what I would do. I would do all of those things. But if it's staying about the same, don't get so worried. It's just every hematologist, if you have a certain blood dyscrasia, I'm assuming, I don't know all of them, obviously, would ask for a bone marrow aspiration because they want to see what's happening in the core of what's being created through your blood, right? So you just haven't seen one, apparently, when this originally happened. So you can wait longer if you want to. If it hasn't changed, then everything's fine, right? Everything's fine, from my perspective anyway. Okay, I hope that's helpful.
Hi, this is Jen from Massachusetts. I love every minute of your podcast. If I had called you 2 weeks ago, I would have asked about the future of my relationship with my husband of 20 years. But 2 weeks ago, he had emergency brain surgery to remove a meningioma, and I feel like we've been given a complete reset, a clean slate for healing and moving forward together.
Great.
So, my question today is about my dream life. I've always had vivid dreams, but since the pandemic, I felt much more like beings or energies have been visiting me in my dream state.
Great.
And sometimes they take me away somewhere. Sometimes they lift me up out of my body and give me an energy healing. Sometimes I'm working with others in a healing capacity. And one time I was asked if I wanted intergalactic assistance, and I said yes. And sometimes I'm visited by departed loved ones. So the night before my husband's emergency surgery, my departed mother-in-law came to me, and I feel like in the dream was almost preparing me for what was to come. So my question is, are these dreams arising from my own mind? Or am I somehow interacting with external beings or souls or energies that are communicating with me in my dream state? And do you have any additional context about how to work with my nighttime experiences in my waking state? And if they're maybe pointing me to a new way to work or express my spiritual gifts? Thank you so much for your extraordinary presence in this world. It's given me great comfort and inspiration. Much love. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. And I hope your husband is doing well and recovered from his surgery. And just remember, if he did, which I'm assuming he did, then just know that he may have been scared and that got him to a certain spot, but you have to do inner work to really have a full change. You have to have a new perception about who you are or how you connect with others. So don't be surprised if things kind of go backslide a little bit once he's not scared anymore. Yes, you are having real experiences with departed loved ones. And again, what you said about she was warning you a little bit. They don't come to warn. They come to love. They come to say, hey, I'm here. I know there's going to be a major surgery tomorrow, so we're going to be here for you. That's why they come. It's never described as a warning. If something was going to happen, they just tell you. They're very direct. So unless they tell you something that humans would determine as a warning, where they just think it's fact, they're there just to say, we're here, we love you, we're going to be helpful, everything's fine, sort of a thing. I would start doing automatic writing, watch videos about it. There's free ones on YouTube. I have a class that's downloadable, so it's a recording on automatic writing. Really get into the practice of automatic writing, because that can be how you start to have these experiences in your awake mode. So what happens is People who are capable of having multisensory experiences when they're awake, but they're afraid, they may not even know that they're afraid. They have some subconscious block, if you will. I don't like the word block, but resistance or hesitation. So the universe hangs out with them while they're asleep and has the experiences that they could have when they're awake. So when you start to do some automatic writing, that's going to help you to stay in the vibration of the letting go. And I would tell yourself, if you have just even the slightest wakeful moment of insight, I would tell yourself immediately, babe, everything's okay. I love you, just internally in your brain. It's so important for people to manage their brains. It affects their entire autonomic system. It's just so incredibly important. So I would, babe, everything's okay. We're on the right track. This is fine. I'm so happy for these experiences. I want to have them when I'm awake too. I don't care if I'm a little scared. I really want to have these. Start communicating to the universe. Start having conversations. Even if you think you're just looking up at a blank ceiling, just go ahead and have those conversations. Okay. Thank you everyone for listening and leaving your voicemail questions. I'm currently teaching 2 classes on my platform, How to Prevent and Heal Disease. Super fun. That's 12 weeks. And Self-Love, which started yesterday. And that's an 8-week course on my platform. You can still join these classes. Everything is also recorded. I teach live, but we send you the recordings that you get to have for the rest of your life, as long as you want them. And I will be teaching a class on how to translate medical intuitive knowledge on the Shift Network later on this month. You can find all those things on the Shift or my website. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.